Suzano is a Brazilian paper and pulp producer. They have just under 11 million tonnes of capacity. They are the largest producer in the sector by more than 2 times, so they're one of the largest players in the world. Any paper and pulp producer that doesn't manage their plantations sustainably is going to have an impact on biodiversity. This has only really recently become an issue that investors have started to focus on. And so in response to that, what we've started to see is what we call sustainability-linked notes or KPI-linked notes. And what a KPI-linked note is it ties the coupon on a bond, the interest rate on a bond, to the achievement of sustainability goals. Suzano is a company that we engaged with as a result of their issuance of a sustainability-linked bond. The bonds had a coupon step up that was tied to the performance of some carbon emissions objectives. So we met with the company in February of 2021 to understand how they'd arrived at those decarbonisation objectives.
With external rating agencies to try and improve those ratings. So I just wanted to get maybe an update on that.
Ila, I think that we have to take into consideration 2 aspects here when talking about ESG ratings.
We also wanted to find out more about their biodiversity plan, especially since most of their plantations are monoculture and they are often criticized for the biodiversity impact and the water consumption.
You mentioned monoculture earlier. We have 40% of our area is set aside for conservation purposes.
So we learned that they are using a technique called the mosaic approach, where they are interseeding plantation with native forest or at least conservation areas. They have subsequently set a target related to biodiversity. So this is to recognize 500,000 hectares of land by 2030. So we will continue to monitor their progress against this target and also evidence that they've achieved this. Our engagement with Suzano is ongoing, and my colleague Fabio has recently caught up with Suzano's CFO in Sao Paulo at their headquarters.
What I hope to learn from this meeting is more about how Suzano is tackling their biodiversity strategy and challenges, particularly with their forests and plantations.
We own pieces of land that are not connected today. And there is a value in connecting those pieces of land and create the conditions for the species, for instance, that are present in the regions to go from one of those islands to the other of those islands. By linking the sustainability targets with a financial transaction in which you have a penalty if you don't achieve, shows internally, shows to the market, shows to all the stakeholders how serious we are in terms of achieving those targets.
I think I learned 3 key important things from this meeting. The first one is how they think about the whole biodiversity targets and ambitions that they have on that area. The second one is the whole idea of financial targets combined with sustainability targets. They don't have to exclude one another. Companies can have both and still do very well out of it. And the last one is the importance of engagement between companies and the financial community, companies like Fidelity engaging with companies like Suzano in order to try and set better standards of sustainability and ESG targets.
The engagement of investors like Fidelity for us in terms of the ESG targets and the ESG strategy is very important. The fact that we came up with that target comes from the feedback from the investors that we were not touching in an important issue, which was biodiversity, which encourages us to come back to the drawing board and think of something that could be impactful.